You can spot your friend in a crowded airport from 200 feet away. Not from their face, not from their voice, from the way their shoulders move when they walk. You do this constantly. You just never noticed you were doing it. Somewhere in your brain, there's a part that's been trained since childhood to read a person's entire emotional state from 8 seconds of footage. Confident or scared, rushed or relaxed, even, weirdly, how neurotic someone is. All of it just from watching two legs move forward. And today, we're going to figure out why your walk gives you away like this, what it's actually revealing about you underneath, and this is the part that gets uncomfortable, what your own walk has been telling strangers about you this entire time, without your permission. Hey, before we go further, if you've ever caught yourself changing how you walk the second you notice someone was watching you, stick around, because that instinct is older than you think. And if this kind of thing genuinely fascinates you, subscribing costs nothing and helps this channel keep digging into the weird machinery running underneath your everyday behavior. Okay, let's go back. Not a few years, 50,000 years. Picture a small group moving across open grassland. No cities yet, no written language, nothing you'd recognize as civilization. Just a handful of humans who depend entirely on each other to survive the next season. In a world like that, you don't get years to figure out if someone's trustworthy. You don't get a resume, a reference check, a first date. You get seconds, maybe less. A stranger appears on the horizon, and your ancestors had to answer one question almost instantly. Is this person a threat or not? And here's what's strange. Long before anyone could hear a voice or read an expression, they could already see how someone moved. Gait was visible from a distance that faces weren't. A confident, open stride said one thing. A tense, guarded shuffle said another. Reading movement wasn't a hobby, it was survival software. That software never got deleted. It's still installed. It's just running in the background now, on people getting off the subway instead of people crossing a savanna. And it's not even a uniquely human trick. Watch any group of primates for long enough and you'll see the same broadcasting system at work. A dominant chimpanzee doesn't announce its rank with words. It walks differently. Bigger, slower, more deliberate, chest slightly forward. A nervous, low-ranking one moves smaller, quicker, closer to the ground, trying not to be noticed. Long before any of our ancestors had language, movement itself was the message, which means when you catch yourself reading a stranger's walk in half a second, you're not being paranoid. You're running one of the oldest pieces of software your brain owns. There's actually a famous experiment that proves how deep this goes. In the 1970s, a Swedish psychologist named Gunnar Johansson strapped small lights onto people's joints, filmed them walking in a completely dark room, and showed the footage to strangers. No face, no body, just a handful of moving dots. People could instantly tell it was a human walking, not a machine, not an animal, a person. Some viewers could even guess the walker's gender, mood, even whether they were carrying something heavy. From dots. That's how much information is packed into the pure motion of a walk, stripped of everything else. So the ability to read gait is ancient. But here's the part that gets more interesting, and honestly a little unsettling. Your walk isn't just something people read. It might actually be an honest signal of who you are underneath. Researchers pulled data from over 15,000 adults, tracking their walking speed against their personality using the standard Big Five model, the one psychologists use to measure traits like extroversion, conscientiousness, openness, neuroticism, and a pattern showed up that was almost too clean. People who walked faster scored higher in extroversion, higher in conscientiousness, higher in openness, and lower in neuroticism. Meanwhile, the people who walked more slowly, more hesitantly, tended to score higher on anxiety-related traits. Not always, not perfectly, but consistently enough that walking speed alone became a rough personality predictor. Think about what that actually means for a second. Your nervous system, without asking your permission, is broadcasting a summary of your inner life through your feet. Quick, honest check. Drop it in the comments. Are you a fast walker who's always half annoyed at slow crowds in front of you, or a slower walker who genuinely doesn't understand why everyone's in such a rush? There's no wrong answer. I just want to see which side wins. But speed is only half of it. A separate study out of the University of Portsmouth used motion capture, the same tech they used to build video game characters, to track exactly how people's upper and lower bodies moved while walking. And they found something specific. People whose upper body swung more relative to their lower body scored significantly higher on measures of aggression. Not louder people, not people who looked angry, just people whose torso rotated more while their legs moved. The researcher behind it, Liam Satchell, pointed out that this pattern shows up so reliably, it could eventually help security teams flag aggressive behavior in footage before anything actually happens. Your walk, in other words, might be leaking information you're not even aware you're transmitting. But here's where it stops being one-directional, because your walk doesn't just reveal your inner state. It turns out that it can also build one. A psychologist named Nicholas Troge ran an experiment where he put people on a treadmill, and without telling them why, he coached some of them toward a slouched, heavy-footed walk, and others toward a bouncier, upright one. Just a walk, nothing else changed. Afterward, the people who'd been nudged into the slouched, heavy-footed style reported feeling noticeably worse, moodier, flatter. The ones walking bouncier reported feeling better. Which means the arrow doesn't just go one way. Your mood doesn't only leak out through your feet can apparently talk back to your mood. Change the walk, and you nudge the feeling that's supposed to be causing it. Now, stack all three of these findings together for a second, because that's when it actually gets interesting. Your walking speed hints at how extroverted or anxious you generally are. Your torso rotation hints at how much aggression you're carrying. And the specific rhythm of your steps can quietly shift how you feel in the next 10 minutes. 3 completely separate mechanisms, all running through the same simple, boring act of putting one foot in front of the other. Now here's the twist, and it's the part most people don't expect. A separate line of research found that when strangers judge your personality from watching you walk, their guesses often feel right, confident, consistent, almost eerily specific. But when researchers actually checked those guesses against the walker's real personality test results, the accuracy fell apart. Loose, bouncy walkers got labeled adventurous and extroverted. Slow, relaxed walkers got read as calm and low in neuroticism. Those impressions were strong, they just weren't always true. So your walk isn't a lie detector. It's more like a rough sketch, sometimes shockingly accurate, sometimes just a story a stranger's brain made up in under a second because that ancient threat detection software doesn't like uncertainty. It would rather give you a wrong answer fast than no answer at all. Which means 2 completely different things can both be happening to you right now. Your actual walk might be quietly revealing real things about your nervous system, your baseline anxiety, your natural pace of moving through the world. And at the exact same time, strangers are constructing a whole personality for you that might have nothing to do with who you actually are. Here's where this gets personal. Think about the last time you walked into a job interview, or a first date, or just a room full of people you wanted to impress. Did your stride change? Slower, more deliberate, chin up, or faster, head down, trying to disappear into the wall? You weren't performing that on purpose. Some older part of your brain was doing damage control in real time, trying to broadcast confidence and maybe didn't fully feel yet. Or think about the opposite moment. Walking through your own front door after a brutal day, dropping the act completely. Shoulders down, feet dragging a little, no one performing for anyone. That's probably closer to your real walk. The one from the airport. The one strangers would actually read correctly if only they ever got to see it. So here's the question for the comments. When you walk into a room full of strangers, do you walk faster than usual because you want to look busy and confident? Or do you slow down without meaning to, because some part of you is scanning the room first. Pick one. I actually want to see which one wins. Which brings us back to that person you spotted in the airport. You recognize them by motion before anything else, using a skill your ancestors needed just to stay alive one more day. And this entire time, while you were reading everyone else's walk without even trying, everyone around you has been quietly reading yours too. Every hallway you've ever walked down, every parking lot, every 100 feet between a car and a front door, someone was probably reading you. Not your words, not your face, just a rhythm of two legs moving the way 50,000 years of survival taught them to move. So the real question isn't what your walk reveals about you. It's this: how much of what people think they know about you did they decide before you ever said a single word?